It's 6:30 in the morning. I just got done with my night shift and I am exhausted. Alright, so welcome back to the vlog, everyone. Tonight is my first night on labor and delivery and you guys are coming with me. First off, I need to make sure I've got one of these with me. Okay, so I've been here for like an hour and nothing's really gone on yet, but one of the attendings just gave me like 6 topics to read about, so grab my iPad and I'm gonna go find a chair to sit in and do some reading until a patient comes in. All right, just finished doing some rounding. First night shift, done. All right, so I just got back from my first night shift on labor and delivery, and honestly, can't really complain. It was a pretty chill night. None of the labor patients delivered, and triage just had a handful of patients that came in throughout the night. And there was also a sub-I, which is basically like a 4th year medical student that was here doing an away rotation. So the work for medical students was pretty much split in half. So it was honestly just a really relaxed night for me. I didn't get a chance to explain before, but basically on L&D as a medical student, there's a few things that we can do. A lot of my time is spent in triage, basically just seeing patients that are coming in. If they're having any new symptoms or something that they're concerned about, maybe they're having contractions, or maybe they're having nausea and vomiting or abdominal pain that's extremely severe, or maybe they're planned induction and they're coming in for their induction of labor, and so we'll go in and see them and help them get admitted. Besides that, I'll help around on currently existing patients, like ones that are already on the labor floor that are, just waiting to deliver, or patients that have already delivered throughout the day that are now on the postpartum floor, and I'll kind of go and check on them and see how they're doing. And then if there's any deliveries happening or C-sections in the operating room, then I can scrub in for those and help out. So it's overall a really cool rotation because it has a really good mixture of seeing new patients, doing consults, but then also getting to do a lot of hands-on stuff like, surgeries and delivering babies. I would love to talk more, but it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning, and honestly, I'm getting pretty tired, so I think I'm gonna try to get into bed and get some sleep, and then we'll do it all over again tonight. So being on the wards, I have had to do a ton of studying, and I feel like it's really made me appreciate the learning process so much more. That's why I'm excited to partner up with the sponsor of this vlog, Blvd. Blvd.org is an awesome platform with many courses in math, science, and even computer science. They have thousands of lessons with new ones being added every single month. Whether you are a student or a professional, I am sure you will find something here that will help you reach your goals. I personally have been doing the Kurzgesagt modules because they're one of my favorite YouTube channels, and I was absolutely stoked to see that they had a course here on Blvd, and it really helps me fulfill my scientific curiosities. This course and the rest of the courses here on Blvd.org are low pressure, interactive, intuitive, and really are the best way to learn. To get started, visit Blvd.org/Shaun Andersen or click the link in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off of Blvd's annual premium membership. Thank you so much again to Blvd for sponsoring this vlog. Alright guys, it is 3 p.m. and I've been asleep ever since I got home, which feels absolutely amazing. Alright, so like I said, I just woke up. It's about 3 p.m. I just heated up some dumplings from Trader Joe's that I'm pretty excited to try. I think the weirdest thing about going from days to nights is like when you are on nights, I think you feel like you need to sleep more throughout the day, which is kind of what I did. I got home, I took some ZQuil, and I just knocked out for pretty much the entire day. And now I already have to almost get ready to go back because I need to be back at the hospital at 5 p.m. Whereas if I'm on like a day shift rotation, which is, most of the time what you're doing, I feel like you still wake up, you get ready, you go to your rotation, you come home, and you're usually awake for a few hours before you go to bed. But then during night shifts, my temptation is to try to get even more sleep than I would normally get during the day. And I think it's because my sleep quality during the day is poorer. Like, it feels weird to sleep during the day. I feel less rested than if I was just going to bed at night and waking up when the sun comes out. And something I noticed with people who chronically work night shifts is that they kind of treat their days still like days. Like, they still get up, go to the gym, you know, meal prep, run some errands before they go in for their night shift. Whereas me, who's just transitioning to a few nights on a rotation, will just waste those days, not go out and do anything before my rotation. And that's something I would eventually like to be better at on my night shifts. But you know, when you're only doing like 3 or 4 nights in a row, you don't really want to change your habits too much. Anyway, I'm gonna eat my dumplings and try to get a little bit of work done, and then I'll get ready to go back to the hospital. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and this shift is like the complete opposite of last night, where I have like not even sat still for more than like 10 minutes. I just asked a patient who got a bilateral tubal ligation during her C-section today if she's planning on starting any birth control as she leaves the hospital. All right guys, so it is almost 6:30 in the morning. I just got home from my overnight shift and I'm honestly exhausted. Last night's shift was very different compared to the first night, where the first night I had a lot of downtime. I was kind of waiting for things to happen, waiting for things to do. I got a lot of UWorld questions done, a lot of studying done. But last night I was basically just running around the entire night with the residents. There was a lot of things going on. There were deliveries, there were C-sections, there were complications from patients that had delivered that day or had C-sections that day. There was a lot of patients to round on. There were patients coming in through triage. So I was kind of doing a lot and helping the residents out with whatever I could, and didn't have a whole lot of time to relax or sit down or do any studying. And I was there for the entire 13 hours and I just got home. But instead of going straight to sleep and getting some rest for tonight's shift, I am actually going to stay up for a few hours because the new Pokemon game on Nintendo Switch came out at midnight, and I've been looking forward to playing this for a few months now. And you know, in medical school and also just life in general, you need things to look forward to, and you need to go and do things that you enjoy and will help you relax a little bit, even if it means you're gonna miss out on a few hours of sleep. And right now, in this very moment, that thing for me is the new Pokemon game. So I told myself I can play until about 8 or 9 a.m. and then I have to go to bed and get some rest for tonight's shift. It is dinner time for the doggos. It tastes good, buddy. Alright guys, so it is my final night on labor and delivery, and tonight's going to be a little bit interesting compared to the last 2 nights. I only got to sleep about 5 to 6 hours throughout the day because I got super carried away playing Pokemon, compared to the last 2 nights where I slept probably like 8 to 9 hours before going in for my shift. So it's going to be interesting to see how sleeping less affects me tonight. I'm heading out a little bit early because I need to go get gas, food, and caffeine before I get to the hospital. One of the worst parts about these long shifts is I just absolutely miss these guys so much. Bye Chip Chip, enjoy your toy. Bye Chewy, I'll miss you. So I got to the hospital a little bit early and I reclined my seat and took a 10-minute power nap in my car and just like knocked out, and now I'm a little bit groggy, pretty tired, and I feel like this is just foreshadowing how tonight is going to go. All right, I am officially done with my last shift. All right guys, so it is about 6:30 in the morning. I just got home from my last overnight shift on L&D. Last night's shift was actually pretty interesting. At the beginning, it was pretty busy, just a lot of patients coming into triage, and then I had to do some postpartum rounding, and then there was just this like lull for like 4 hours where I felt like I wasn't really doing anything. Patients weren't really coming in through triage. Nothing was really happening. And then at the end of the shift, in like the last 4 hours, a bunch of stuff started happening. There was a delivery. There were a bunch of patients coming into triage. There were emergency room patients to go see. There was just a lot going on, but honestly, it was a lot of fun. Overall, I really liked my L&D rotation. There was just such a good mixture of you know, seeing patients, but also getting to do a lot of procedures. Like I really liked that I could be talking to a patient in triage and, you know, getting a history from them and then running to a room to go help with a delivery, or scrubbing into the OR to help with a C-section, or going to the emergency room to go see a consult there. There's just a lot of diversity in this field and I really enjoyed it. But I'm done with L&D and on Monday I start plastic surgery. So the plan for this weekend is to catch up on some rest, because going from an overnight schedule back to a normal daytime schedule is a little bit tough. So I'm gonna try to catch up on some sleep. I'm going to binge play a bunch of Pokemon, of course, and somewhere in that I'll try to do some studying as well. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog and got some insight into what it looks like to be a medical student on night shift. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.